We welcome you inside Week 8 of the Ken Sparks Show. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier, alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks. The Eagles pick up a 21-point come-from-behind 35-34 victory over the North Greenville Crusaders on homecoming. And Ken, congratulations in order of you, now in sole possession of 5th place on the all-time wins list, passing Bear Bryant with your 324th career win. How nice is that to have it happen on homecoming with a bunch of folks in town who, through the years, have put you in a position to make that possible?
Well, it was good to celebrate with all those guys, to see them before the ball game. I mean, we had a crowd here of just ex-players and coaches, and it was fun just to mingle with them. Of course, you know, game day is the worst day possible, but after the ball game, we had some fun together, and it's always, so many of those guys have been meaningful in my life and a lot of other people's lives, and so it was so much. It was gratifying to be part of just what happened on Saturday with them, and then to see our team, this year's team, respond from a 21-point deficit. You know, added a whole lot to it too. To see that we could fight back again, and we got a bunch of fighters, and we got some guys that are going to, you know, stay to the fight, finish faithful mode that we've been talking about, and of course, you know, it was great to be able to again to bring attention to my Lord, and to praise Jesus' name, which is, you know, how can it get any better than that? Good people, good Lord, and good team. So we celebrated.
The post game was a little bit easier on some folks too. 2 weeks ago, you had to drop F-bombs, faithfulness and frustration. This week, far more positive, singing "This Little Light of Mine" with the team after the game.
Yeah, I thought I'd get somebody to, you know, I asked the band director before the game. I said, you know, and she was not going to be around because she was having to go lead a concert someplace, but she said, I'll have some band members here. I said, can you play Amazing Grace? And because my first thought was that we wanted to sing Amazing Grace. That's my favorite song. And we've sung it together before down through the years several times with other teams. And so they weren't, so I just broke out with "This Little Light of Mine," and the second, you know, and the second stanza was "This Little Light of His," because you know, that really was that's the name of the game. It's Him. He is light, and he gives us light to live life with, and so it was a lot of fun, and I think I shocked some of them when we broke out in songs.
Well, there's two different levels of shock. There's one, the coach singing, and then there's one, you got to check your ears to make sure you're not bleeding from them.
Yeah, well, I understand.
The choir.
You're right. Well, I called for volunteers and didn't get any. I said, well, I'll just do it myself. And so I think they didn't want any part of it to start with. So.
We'll turn our attention to the actions on the field and how Carson-Newman came back from a 21-point deficit to North Greenville when we get back after this on the Ken Sparks Show. Back on the Ken Sparks Show as the Eagles pick up a 35-34 win over the North Greenville Crusaders on homecoming to improve to 6-1 on the season. I'm Adam Cavalier alongside Carson-Newman head coach Ken Sparks. This is the Ken Sparks Show. Ken, first half, follies really, fall behind by 21 points. What did North Greenville do to jump out of the gates?
Well, they had a great game plan, and they were determined, and it looked to me like they were in a little different gear than we were in to start with, and then we came right off the bat, turning the ball over, and you know, we like in any situation, you can't win turning the ball over, and have our first 4 passes to them was to them. And none of them was to us, and that's not good. And we'd thrown the ball so good during the week, unbelievable. And then we get in this ball game, we didn't throw it at all. So I don't know. We got plenty to work on this week, but you know, the main thing was, again, a group of guys that found a way to make some plays, and we turned them over couple times right before half, and that helped get us back, right before half, down to 1 touchdown, and then some of them, if we don't turn around and give them another drive, and then they kick a field goal, which was a downer for us. And so, but our guys never did. I didn't see them despairing at all. I felt I never got the idea that North Greenville was psychologically up on us. I never felt that, and so it was great to see. They only scored 3 points the second half, and the defense turned the ball over to the offense a couple times, and one time gave us a real short field, and so hallelujah.
12th play, 74-yard drive, capped off by Damian Baker getting into the end zone. How big is that possession after North Greenville goes in from 20 yards out on a drop play?
Well, it was huge, and the fact that we answered, and then I think one of the most disappointing things in the second half was that we, of course, the second half drive, they come down and kick a field goal. That bothered me. But then when we got a 1-point lead, defense gave us the ball back, and then we go turn the ball over again while we're driving down the field, and we need to score there to make it an 8-point game and get this thing out of a toss up of what could happen next. And then we turn the ball over again. I think it might have been, I believe that's our only turnover second half. Yeah. And so that really was one of, where's my microphone? One of those. That was one of those. So, but it was good.
I appreciate you avoiding stabbing
my microphone.
I do appreciate that. Okay. We'll take a look at the first half highlights. Eagles down by 10 at the break.
In the gun with Bird to his left. 2 wide receivers to the wide side left. Sanders and Robbie Brown. De Los Santos and Garrett to the short side right. Pistol look now for Hughes. Takes the snap. It's low. Muffed. Ball's on the ground at the 9. Did the Eagles come up with it? Yes! Eric Hilton seizes the muffed exchange and flags on the play after the fact. Langford set to kick off to Ward and Williams. It's a low kick that'll come down to Ward at the 6 on the left side at the numbers. Ward, stutter step, stop and go move. 20, 25, moving right, evades a man, 35. Ward off to the races, 50, 40. North Greenville with an angle, 20, 10. Ward stumbling, and he steps out at the 5. Quantel Mack keeps him out of the end zone, but an 89-yard kickoff return for Trayshawn Ward. Couldn't seal it off for 6, but he has the Eagles offense in business. And Baker split backs. Lahovde and Isom, the wideouts, wide side to the left. Thomas takes the snap. It's a dive to Hibbett left side, and Hibbett churns into the end zone. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Just like that, the Eagles respond. A long kickoff return from Trayshawn Ward, and then the 5-yard plunge over the left side of the line from Andy Hibbett. 17 seconds left first quarter. Crusaders do have to run one more play. 4 wide set, 2 each way. Hughes, it's a delayed draw to Walker. That sucked the Eagles defense in. Walker off to the races, splitting the hashes. Walker will strike for the touchdown. North Greenville. 32 yards out, the delayed draw. As long as you can wait, 28-7. Thomas takes the snap. It's a dive right side for Damian Baker, and Baker hops his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. 2:16 left in the second quarter, 28-13. North Greenville has the lead, though. 1st and 20, North Greenville from the 25. Using a pistol look, takes the snap, drops the football, and we'll see who comes up with it. Carson-Newman football. Johnson Jameson came up with it. And the Eagles, do they finally have momentum on their side? Now the question is, can you capitalize? Thomas under center, split backs for the right hash. Takes the snap, gives on the dive to Damian Baker. Baker slips out of a tackle at the 5 and rolls for the touchdown. Carson-Newman. Damian Baker was caught around the ankles at the 5, planted his right hand to the ground, kept his feet,
Those are the first half highlights. Eagles down 31-21 at the halftime break. Ken, what'd you say in the locker room to continue the progress that your team had already made a little bit in the second quarter?
Well, I think the only thing we talked about was this is what championship teams are made out of, and we need some tests to prove our mettle and to heat to put us under fire so we get the impurities out, and so I said, I'm excited about where we are, and glad we are, and I've been fibbing a little bit on that one, but I didn't see any despair at all. And main thing we talked about was let's welcome where we are. Let's rejoice with the opportunity that we got to go out and make good news, and good news about ourselves, and bring more honor to the Lord. And it happened.
It starts in the second half, though. North Greenville drives down the field, a long 6-minute drive that cuts some significant time off the game. How do you get your players to respond after such a long drive that ends in a field goal?
Well, I think we came right back and answered offensively, and that helped a whole lot. And then defense, after that, they said, "It's enough of this. We're going to insert our part in this too."
We take a look at the second half highlights when we come back after this on the Ken Sparks Show. Back on the Ken Sparks Show as the Eagles pick up a 35-34 homecoming victory over the North Greenville Crusaders. Ken, you rely heavily, shockingly, on the ground game.
But this game more than ever.
But really, two men step up and really perform sensationally.
Wow.
Andy Hibbett sets a school record for consecutive 100-yard rushing performances. He only had 183 yards on a career-high 33 carries. And then Damian Baker, first game where he really is your go-to secondary back, and 25 touches, 133 yards, first career 100-yard game, first career multi-rushing touchdown game. He finishes with a hat trick. What about your two tailbacks?
Well, we're very fortunate to have them. And of course, there's some other guys that has to help those two guys. They can't get it done without a great offensive line that's opening some holes for them. But there's a lot of times that they just, that's two tough rascals, and we're very fortunate to have both of them. And for Andy or any running back anywhere, especially in our offense, we're in the briar patch. But when you carry 63 times in two ball games, I don't see how he's walking today. In fact, he was at the end of the game. He wasn't hardly walking. And I told him, I said, you're a thoroughbred. You look like a mule, but you're a thoroughbred. And we know Damian's got it. We know he's got it. He just, he's got to keep catching on to the offense and keep getting more comfortable with it. But I predicted early, if you'll remember, I told you earlier that he was going to be a factor before the year's over. And sure enough, he's now working into that.
Stunning kind of game. First time in over a year where you don't have a play longer than 20 yards, but just kept chipping away. How'd that happen?
Well, you have to give North Greenville some credit. They were doing a great job defensively against us, and we weren't doing anything to loosen them up. We couldn't throw the ball down the field because we're now getting satisfied for 3.5, 4 yards a carry, just so we keep drives alive and so we can get it in the end zone. And so you can't, when you're 1 for 7 with 2 interceptions, you can't waste a down, and that's kind of the way we felt like what we were doing was wasting a down when we threw it, and so that's the reason we did what we did.
Break down the draw play that's the go-ahead score. Damian Baker gets in from 18 yards.
Yeah, great blocking, and of course, I think Andy had a great lead block on it, and Damian found that little crease and said, "Here I go."
We take a look at the second half highlights. The Eagles come out on top, 35-34.
Under center, split back. Hibbett to the left, Baker to the right from the right hash. Thomas takes the snap, the dive to Andy. Hibbett plows his way for 6. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Andy Hibbett, his second score of the day thus far. Eagles have shoot up 59. Thomas takes the snap. It's a draw to Baker. Moves right at the 10. 5. Baker to the end zone. Touchdown! Carson-Newman! Damian Baker gets the hat trick and goes over 100 yards on the day as the Eagles tie it up with 9:15 left in the fourth quarter. An 18-yard score and scamper for Damian Baker. 40 ball on the right hash. 4 wide, 2 each way. Hughes in the gun. Gets it as the play clock expires. Hughes back to pass. Throws out right side. It's picked. Crumity has it at the 30. Crumity took it away from his teammate Ian Jacob, but it's Carson-Newman football, and that's what matters most.
Those are the second half highlights as the Eagles pick up a 35-34 homecoming win over the North Greenville Crusaders. When we come back, we shine our Eagle spotlight on a pair of the hog mollies up front for the defense, David Way and Johnson Jameson. That's after this. Back on the Ken Sparks Show as the Eagles pick up a 35-34 win over North Greenville. Time now for Michael WOTTREng to shine our Eagle spotlight. And this week, it's put on David Way and Johnson Jameson.
The Carson-Newman defense is seeking more cohesiveness in this 2014 campaign. The Eagle coaching staff is starting at the forefront with the defensive tackles and seniors David Way and Johnson Jameson.
Johnson Jameson has been a real solid performer all throughout the year. He's a senior. He's got solid experience, and he's gone through a lot of ball games where he provides a experience and knowledge on how to handle different schemes. David Way is just a big old guy that just his mere size, he can really dominate offensive linemen. And David, he's had some good days, he's had some tough days, but what we see of late is David's really been practicing well. He's given us the consistency that we've been looking for.
The duo almost didn't happen. Last season, Jameson was forced to sit out the entire season after not qualifying academically. The lessons learned from not playing in 2013 helped the Greer, South Carolina native to ensure he would make the most out of this season.
It was real tough. I mean, they had a great group of guys last year that it would have been a lot of fun to be a part of, and a lot of my good friends, and kind of let myself down in that regard, and so that really provided a lot of motivation coming back this year and wanting to make the most of the last opportunity that I have, knowing that I had squandered one.
Jameson and Way have used a lot of energy trying to help the linebackers make plays. Way believes that their job is to set the tone for the defense.
We just need to hit them right from the get. Like, as soon as we get on the field, we just need to dominate. Let the line know that we're here to do work, and we're gonna just do whatever we can. Every play hard. Every play, give it all you got, and just give grace to God. Just thank God for us being able to be here and be with the team that we're able to be with, and just keep fighting for each other and fight for the man upstairs.
The two have battled for everything that they have earned in a Carson-Newman uniform. Jameson understands that he may not remember every play, but the life experiences are something he will never forget.
Just a lot of great life lessons, and really knowing about putting other people first, and that life is a lot more than football and a lot more than anything else that we do while we're here in college, and just about making an impact on other people. And there's been some great guys that I've been around that have showed me how to do that, guys that are a real joy to play with, and so it's been a lot of fun.
The camaraderie is something that sticks out in Way's mind. The atmosphere of the brotherhood is something that he will take with him when his playing days are over.
I've never been around a group of men that I've been so close with. Just them telling me to keep fighting just makes me want to keep fighting no matter what. If my leg fell off, if my arm fell off, just the bond that we have is just, we're not going to quit. No matter how much you're going through, no matter how much pain you're going through, that man next to you, you're going to fight until you can't fight anymore. So just this team is more than just a football team. It's a family as a whole.
Linked up is one of the main themes for the Carson-Newman football team this season. The defensive chain has steadily become stronger thanks to a pair of iron horses on the defensive line. For the Ken Sparks Show, I'm Michael WOTTREng.
Thank you very much, Michael WOTTREng and Ken, David Way, Johnson Jameson, two unsung heroes up front for the defense. Still a lot of growth for both players, too.
Well, we got a long way to go defensively. We're too spotty, and we're getting we're letting people get under our pads, and we're not hardly as explosive as we need to be. But we're going to get better, and we better get better starting this week. And but David Way had a breakthrough game last week and got kind of hyperextended elbow this week, and so I really don't know. I haven't been able to watch. He was very limited the second half on how much he played. And Johnson Jameson's been the most steady guy we've had all year, and he just a little bit light in the britches, and but he's been fun. He's a good person. He's a lot of fun to be around.
Turn your attention now to a bit of a clash of the Titans, battle of unbeatens in the South Atlantic Conference. You're ranked 17th right now. Lenore Ryan ranked 5th in the AFCA coaches poll. What do you like about this matchup?
Well, I mean, it's always a battle, and of course, year before last we got them twice here, and last year they got us twice over there, and so and I think most of our guys remember the second game in the national playoffs last year, where second half they it's 20-10 at halftime, and we got beat the second half, which don't happen to us very often, and I heard several at last year say that they wanted it more than we wanted it, and I think that really disappointed some of our guys. And so it'll take our best game to beat them. They got a lot of confidence coming off of playing for the national championship. They're doing the same things offensively and defensively, and they're very effective at it.
New coach, though, Mike Houston leaves. He's coaching at the Citadel now. Ian Shields is the new head man there. Anything different about what they're doing with him at the helm? Very
little. He was the offensive coordinator at Army, and Army was running the wing bone, I call it, where they, and so it's basically the same offense, and they're choppy and try to get you outnumbered in places, either inside or outside, and are very capable defensively. It's doing the same defensive scheme that they've always done.
That seems to have been the hallmark for Lenore Ryan teams these past 2-3 years or so, is great defense. Anything different about them defensively, especially without two All-American safeties and Michael Green and Meyer Nolan, who have since graduated?
Well, they reloaded with transfers, Division I transfers, and they've got great kicking game. I don't think he's missed a field goal this year, and so they're just a complete football team.
Ken, thanks for the time. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you. I'll let you buy me a Dr. Pepper. Thank you.
Oh, that is so sweet of you. Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier. This has been the Ken Sparks Show. Thanks for watching.